Guys, we've got to have a talk. We've got to have a talk about this. The Icon locking flex head and ratchet set, otherwise known as the meme tool. If you go anywhere on the internet right now, guys are buying this like wildfire. It's going out of stock on Harbor Freights across the country everywhere. Even little small towns, it's going out of stock. It's $39.99. People are getting it with a coupon. And this is the most handy set that Harbor Freight's come out with to date. But why is everyone buying it? We're going to go through why this thing is so awesome and why everyone's buying it right now. And why buying something else is a lot different. So I picked this up a while ago. And right now, if you don't know much about it, this Icon ratchet set and bit set doesn't have any actual sockets, as we'll see. But face value, Icon is Harbor Freight's premium tool line. It is above the Quinn brand and the Doyle brand for hand tools. And the Quinn brand and the Doyle brand are above the Pittsburgh brand. So when you look at the set, this is top of the line. This is your competitor to Snap-on. This is a 35-piece set which has a locking flex head ratchet, an extension which turns into a T-handle, and it's got 32 bits that are included. Torx, slotted, Phillips, hex, posi drive, no JIS, right? And this thing is $40 without any crazy Harbor Freight coupons, inside track, which admittedly I've fallen victim to. I'm inside track because I buy a lot of stuff from Harbor Freight. I like their stuff. It's well made, most of it. But we're going to talk about the law of diminishing returns today, and what makes this set so special, and why you might think another set is more special. Alright, so when you unbox this thing, what do you get? Well, first, you get actually a really nice case. So one thing to remember about Icon is you're talking about a lot of premium packaging compared to Pittsburgh and Quinn. So the Pittsburgh and Quinn might have like a blister pack, clamshell, whatever. The Icon stuff, noticeably, especially the ratchets, the sockets, the impact stuff, really good, like nice cardboard, right? Then inside the box, a whopping 4.5 inches long. Let's say 4 3/4 long by a little over 2 1/4 inches wide. Very small case. This is going to be an ABS plastic with an injection molded rubber piece here. So the ABS is all of the red, the injection molded kind of TPU, maybe rubberish stuff. This is the black stuff. You have this opening button. Slide it. You can open the set. So you see your 32 bits. You see your ratchet. You see your T-handle or your extension. Now the way that this works, and I'm not going to go through the entire functionality of this thing because I'd rather talk about why people are buying it for $40. So you can throw this in here and boom, you've got a ratchet, you've got a pivot, whatever functionality wise, or you could turn this so that it's slotted in a way, forgive me here, I've got to find it because I can't see close enough, that you can make this a T-handle, which means you can either eliminate some of the distance to what you're working on, kind of hold this in your hand at whatever distance you need, put your thumb as a stop, or use it as a T-handle when you go and put a bit in the end of the handle that you can use as a ratcheting screwdriver. Or sorry, as a screwdriver, not ratcheting. It's not ratcheting this way, but it is a T-handle screwdriver or hex driver. You see these different kind of security bits here. I'll talk about those in a second. So you've got your ratcheting action. You do have the direction selector here. You do have your flex head locking button here. And I do admit, I mean, this thing is pretty sturdy. It does not give me the heebie-jeebies. So it's a ratchet. It's a good ratchet. It's worth mentioning. Lifetime guarantee, right? Manufactured in Taiwan. That's what we're going to talk about. We're not going to talk about the tool. We're not going to stress test the tool. We're not going to project farm the tool. We're going to talk about Taiwan. What else does Taiwan make? Well, if you don't know a whole lot about Taiwan, Taiwan's an interesting place for hand tools. There's about 6 manufacturers in Taiwan that make this set for Harbor Freight. They make Blue Point for Snap-on. They make Husky. They make Craftsman. And they make a myriad of other brands. So there's only 6 manufacturers, roughly. And they're in about a 40-minute area, right? So if you're smack dab in the middle, you can get to all these factories in about 40 minutes. And they're making this stuff. They're making everything for Harbor Freight. It is very rare to see something in Harbor Freight that is not specified as made in Taiwan. The Pittsburgh line, the Quinn line, the Icon line, all made in Taiwan. Does that mean it's bad? It's actually quite the opposite. So in Taiwan, across those 6 facilities, there's 3 different grades of tooling that these machine shops are making. There's basically a grade 1, a grade 2, and a grade 3, with grade 1 being the best. This is your Snap-on, potentially some Icon, and some of your other premium brands. Now, when I say Snap-on, of course, I am talking about Blue Point and some other things that Snap-on has not branded as made in the US. But there are premium brands being made in Taiwan. The thing is, there's also the opposite being made in Taiwan. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. But what I will say is don't feel bad about paying $40 for something that's made in Taiwan. Just because it doesn't say made in the US, or made in Japan, or made in Germany, it doesn't mean it's bad. So let's talk about the bits, since we've talked about Taiwan a little bit. When you look at bits, you want high-speed steel bits with some amount of tungsten, cobalt, and a mixture of these elements, right, that make these stronger so that they don't bend and they have very little malleability when they heat up and when they're being used. I have no ungodly clue what mixture of cobalt's in these. I can never say it, but molybdenum, right? Tungsten. I have no idea. No one does, right? You're getting something that's basically just packaged, and they don't tell you a whole lot about the composition of the steel, whether it's this piece. And again, they don't give you any indication of what it's made out of. They don't tell you anything. but do they really, right? Do they really anyway? Because they're going to get your money anyway if you're interested in buying something like this. But at the end of the day, I think what matters is knowing that good tools can come out of Taiwan. Now, this is $40. There was something at Harbor Freight that isn't exactly this, but it is $36 cheaper. And that is the Pittsburgh Slim Ratcheting Bit Driver. Now, if you can hear this, that's a lot of clicks compared to your Icon set, right? The Icon, you can tell, has a lot more teeth, maybe less back drag than the Pittsburgh. And the Pittsburgh, what's really interesting about the Pittsburgh is you have a bit driver, but you also have a little 1/4-inch socket driver on the back. Here's your selector, right? This is $2.99. And it comes with a bit set. It comes with a bit set, which is wild. Now it's 6 bits plus the 7th one that's in here when you buy it. But this is $3. And it's slim. And it's got a lifetime guarantee. So wait a minute. I mean, you might ask yourself, right? Like, why don't I just go to Harbor Freight and get a bit set, Pittsburgh bit set. It's got all these for like $8. They have them. And then get this. And about $10, maybe 11. Use a coupon. Or I can pay $40 for the Icon. By the way, this Pittsburgh, made in Taiwan. Same factory? Who knows, right? Again, different manufacturers in that space. So the value prop, the law of diminishing returns. Does this have a pivoting head, right? A flex head? No, it doesn't. It's very thin, though. It can probably get in some spaces. You have the option of being basically a socket ratchet as well, which you do with this too, right? Because you have this attachment. But you don't get the T-handle screwdriver, right? But is all of that worth $36 and change more? Or do you decide that you want a bit more durability and you go with the Japanese, and I just had a video on this here, Annex brand, made in Japan, which is probably a little bit higher quality. I can tell it's higher quality because when I put these two next to each other, and I kind of just, you can feel the slop in the Pittsburgh, a lot harder, kind of more effort to move along versus the Annex, which is just buttery smooth, no back drag, beautiful. They do make this in a ratchet setup that has a socket adapter on the back, just like this. This model happens to not be that. They also make this that has a 45-degree angle going forward or backward. This model is not that one. But, this is $13, and you get 9 bits, right? And they're Annex branded. Now again, with bits, do we know where they're made? No. Do we know how much cobalt's in them? How much tungsten's in them? How much carbon steel's in them, right? We don't. We have no idea. No one's telling us this. I don't even know if Snap-on tells anyone what's in their bits. But what I do know is that you've got 3 levels. You've basically got your low cost, low entry, $2.99, super cheap. It's going to get the job done. God knows how long it's going to last. Still has a lifetime warranty for $3. Then you've got a Japanese set that you can get for $13 on Amazon. That's going to do just as well as this, but better, smoother, might last longer, more bits, with a limited warranty. And then you've got something that is 3 times as much money, with a case, with more bits, that's made in the same factory as the first one, that has a lifetime warranty as well. Now, based on all of that, it comes down to choices. Is this the best tool that's out there right now in this form factor? I really do think it is. Is this Pittsburgh set going to do the same thing as the Icon set? No, it's not. It's not even close. It's not even in the same ballpark. Is it made in the same factory? Perhaps not. Is it made by the same manufacturer? By the same tool maker? On the same machines? I'm almost certain, given the region, the logistics, the way that the world works, yes. And it's probably shipped over on the same ship, going to the same ports, going to the same warehouses, definitely into Harbor Freight's hands. But at the end of the day, for 40 bucks, this is a set that, as I understand it now, without checking, I do not believe anyone else makes. There may be another tool maker from Japan that's making this. And I believe it is... let's see. As I'm searching on my phone, I see the Icon, and I see a small gear wrench, I see a small Tecton, I see a small Ulsa. There may be another one made by a Japanese brand. I remember seeing a set similar to this, not the same form factor, but it is, you know, I mean, from just a monopoly perspective, Harbor Freight has it. And they're selling these like absolute hotcakes right now. And until someone else comes up with something that can knock this off of the podium for 40 bucks, and a lot of the time people are getting these for 35, sometimes 30, with a coupon or with their membership, depending on what sales are going on. I don't see anyone really dethroning Harbor Freight right now, because this set is really well made. The form factor is great. You can throw this in your glove box, whatever, and it's made well. Now, if Tone, who is the Japanese brand that I'm now recalling, would come out with a slightly smaller form factor for their set that mirrors this, and I think when I look at the Tone set, it comes in a box that's kind of looks like that. Now, if the Tone can mirror what Icon's doing, now this is a T handle. This has the bits. It doesn't have 32, but it's the T handle. It's got the flex head. It's made in Japan. But no one's doing it like Harbor Freight. So hats off to them.